Welcome back to another push tutorial. I'm Jnthn Stein. You know that. Let's just jump right into some super slick stuff. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to play slick 7th chords. Really easy to do on push. It's like the thing was freaking made for this. So a quick little review. A 7th chord is going to be a chord that has a root, a third, a fifth, and a seventh. Now actually a lot of the chords I'm going to show you today have no fifth because you don't really need that interval to create that richness. It's really all about the third and the seventh for 7th chords. So I'm going to show you some really slick ways to play that with one hand. Thumb on C, then do ring finger on E right here, and then pointer finger on B. So we've got root, 3, 7. And notice that your hand is doing this little tucked under thumb shape. You're going to be doing the shape a lot on push. It's kind of made for that. Boom, boom, boom. Now remember, one of the big things that you're going to be feeling and figure out as you get to know push over time is that it's symmetrical. It's isomorphic. Yeah, learn that cool word. So this shape right here, think of it as like a little Tetris block, a little triangle. Thumb here, up one, to the left one, up one more row, to the right one of where the thumb was. And that's your major 7 chord. So once you know the shape, you could push it and play it anywhere. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. And that's me just moving around, not even thinking about what I'm doing. I'm going to take that to the extreme. Not even thinking. So that is a C major 7. Without the fifth, but I won't tell if you won't tell. So now to turn that C major 7 chord into a C minor 7 chord, all you got to do is drop the third and the seventh by a half step. So let's see what that looks like on push. This is our C major 7, and we're just going to lower the third, which is ring finger, and the seventh, which is pointer finger, down a half step, which means we just move those fingers to the left one square. From this to this. From this to this. Watch that one more time. C major 7, C minor 7, C major 7, C minor 7. So now check out this new shape for your C minor 7 chord. It's a new type of triangle, a new Tetris block. Kind of just burn that into your brain, that shape right there. We're going to do the same experiment where you just move it around freely without thinking. Not even thinking. It sounds dope no matter what. That's how you play a close position major and minor 7th chord very easily with one hand on push. Let's quickly take a look at what that would be like on right hand, by the way. On right hand, you're still going to tuck the thumb under. You're just going to invert these fingers. So that's your major 7 shape. That's your minor 7 shape. Boom. Try doing this cool little descendy staircasey progression where you alternate between major 7 chords and minor 7 chord. Try just setting down and playing a minor 7 chord anywhere really. I'm just going to put it down here. And now just move your thumb to the left one square. And now move to the left one more half step or square, however you want to think about it. Play another minor 7 chord. And do it again. And again. Now you notice here we run out of room in terms of going to the left so we could keep going down in half steps. So now's a good time to pay attention to these other green lights that appear here. Now this is push telling you the same notes that you're playing here, how they would be played on the next row down. So these are the same note, these are the same note, these are the same note. So we're here, and now you pay attention to this and you say, oh, that's where my thumb would be, so now my thumb needs to go here. Very helpful to look at those green squares if you're ever lost and need to find a new part of push to play on. So keep going. Now here we're gonna have to do the same thing. This is where the thumb should be. Just keep going. Yeah, I love this progression. So pretty, so slick. Oh, look at this little guy. He just fell into my life. Cool. Now I'm going to show you how to play these same voicings, but in open position. So we're going to go back to our C major 7 chord. And instead of the third being here with the ring finger, we're going to take the third up the octave and play it there instead. And now we're going to do this shape right here. Thumb, pointer, middle. It's kind of like this little claw, and it's very vertical. And the same thing, we're going to do that exercise where we move this shape around without even thinking. It's always going to be pretty. It's always going to be a major 7 chord. That was some pretty wild decisions for those major 7 chords, but you get the idea. Now, just like we did from switching from major 7 to minor 7 in the closed position, let's do that same thing with this major 7 chord, where we're just going to drop the 7th and the 3rd down a half step. And to do that, you just slide to the left 1 square. So we're going to go slide. And now for our minor 7, we actually just have this straight line shape. So simple, so easy and comfortable to play with the hand too. Now we're moving it around. Yeah. Now let's try that same sliding, falling down, alternating major 7, minor 7 progression with this style of voicing. It's going to be even easier, by the way. I'm going to pick a starting point. Let's try it up here. Why not? Thumb goes down. Whole hand. Thumb. Whole hand. Thumb. Whole hand. Thumb. Now we need to switch to the next row. Look where it would be. That's where your thumb would be. So you got to go boom. Again. And again. Let's try that with the right hand. I'm going to do a shorter version. This is where it is. That's where your thumb would be. So now it needs to go here. Now this chord progression is just one slick one that I'm showing you that gets you familiar with both the major and minor 7s and lets you move them around in a graceful way. But ideally the goal is that you're just going to be moving them around freely to create your own cool progressions. And the beautiful thing about working with major and minor 7 chords, it's like cooking with, it's like making pastries with honey and chocolate. No matter what you do with them, it's going to be amazing. So I'm going to take that scenario and just put a bunch of honey and chocolate all over the push, and let's see what that sounds like. Without even thinking, I'm just 2 spoonfuls, just dripping a bunch of syrupy liquids. Here we go. So that was me just turning my brain off, not thinking about what chord was what. I honestly couldn't name any of the notes in that progression. And I was just relying on those 2 shapes I knew, the major 7 and the minor 7. Now let's try that same approach with the closed position that I showed you a bit ago. Now, let's be a little looser with mixing those closed position voicings and the open position voicings. And just to review the difference there, these are your 2 major 7s, and these are your 2 minor 7s. Here we go. So when you start to mix those two, you get cooler voice leading things happening where everything isn't just moving around like this little parallel triangular block. Now you've got the top voice, which is being done with the pointer often, and the thumb, which is the bass note, that are kind of doing this kind of thing. They're kind of weaving and snaking around. It ends up being more interesting. So you've got that same principle, just honey and chocolate, caramel and sprinkles, peanut butter and banana, cilantro and tortillas. It's gonna work no matter every time. But now you've got a little bit more of a dynamic, melodic weaving going on. So, real quickly, let's talk about how we can incorporate a two-handed style playing with this. And by the way, everything I'm showing you, you should practice with left and right hand. You're going to notice that a lot of times, I demonstrate a lot of this focused on the left hand. There's a couple reasons for that. One, for most of us, the left hand is going to be the weaker hand, so it's actually nice to focus on that hand to give it a bit of an advantage to catch up to the right hand's intuitive abilities. Two, the right hand is actually smart enough to mirror what the left hand learned. So this hand is actually learning and practicing on its own with its own little brain while this hand is practicing. I promise you that is true, as weird as it sounds. So just kind of roll with me here and really let your left hand step its game up. So for the two-hand thing, we're going to try more of a left hand bass piano approach for the left hand, where instead of it playing the chord voicings, it's just going to be doing the root either in octaves or root fifth, which is always a big, powerful, grounded sound. So I'm going to show you what that looks like for the left hand real quick. We're going to do this tucked thumb thing. So go C, and then G here. This shape is a fifth. And remember, push is isomorphic, which means it's symmetric no matter what. So any of these intervals I'm teaching you is universal. Learn right now, learn it, that this is a fifth. So we're going to play 1, 5, with the left hand. And with the right hand, we're going to play that major 7 chord that I showed you. That's one way you could do it. And then you practice moving that around. Now you have to have both hands working together. It's a little harder, but you get a bigger result. Try the same thing with minor 7 chords. Yeah, you get the idea of what's going on here. Now, we could make this chord sound even bigger actually with a wider range. So go ahead and hit the octave key in your push. So now get into the C1 to G flat 4 area. That's what's going to say up on the screen. And now I'm going to get a nice big deep 1-5 with the left hand. Borderline too deep. And the right hand, instead of putting the right hand very close to the left hand right here, which actually does sound amazing, so yes, you should do that. But for practice right now, we're going to make a wider chord by having the right hand up here. There's less options of how many chords you could play when the hands get that far apart. So later down the road, we're going to learn how to finagle and work with the limited range of push. But for now, just practice that. Do the same thing with the minor 7s. And remember, this one also sounds great. Now, if you want to add a little more richness to this type of voicing, now with the left hand, we're going to play an open position triad. And this in itself is a great shape that you should be using all the time. Check this out. We've got our 1-5. Now add with middle finger, major 3. This is just a big open triad. It's great for any time you want to produce or write songs in pop music, etc., folk, any of these styles. Just get a big, strong sound in this low register, especially on any instrument. Use this shape: 1, 5, 10. 10 is the third up the octave, by the way. So just practice moving that around for a sec. Same principle. And now we're going to do that same thing where we play our close position major 7 chord with the right hand. Ooh, so big, so full, so rich, so juicy. Let's do the same thing with the minor 7. Now for the minor 7, for this left hand triad shape, instead of this, you're just going to drop the third a half step and maybe do it with your ring finger instead. Here we go. Ooh, so gloomy when you play them in sequence like that. Let's try it as a minor 7 though. Here we go. Tragic! So the next level for this exercise here is to play these big major and minor 7 chords, with the left hand doing the 1, 5, 10 big deep triad, and the right hand doing 1, 3, 7 for now. Down the road, I'm going to show you more slicker voicings that are even fuller and richer and even more juicy, sweet, greasy, all that good stuff. But for now, this is good. So we're just going to do it freely. And take your time, go as slow as you need to for this to be fluid and that you could actually get to know these shapes well in your brain and hands and heart. Here we go. We're going to start on C major. Next final level that I'm going to show you for this chapter would be to maybe do some arpeggiated stuff with the right hand, so that it's not just all these block chords, and kind of a gateway into playing melodies and doing the same chord, same notes and everything. So we're just adding one extra layer each time. Let's try that out. And by the way, I've got my sustain pedal hooked up, so I'm going to use that to help me out so I don't have to push down so damn hard. So there you go, major and minor 7th chords in all sorts of easy one-hand voicings and big two-hand voicings, and even a little bit of sneak peek on how you can play melodies on top of this. Have fun with this, practice this as slow, as fast as you want to. Let me know how these videos are working out for you, if the difficulty is right, if it's the right amount of material, any suggestions you have, hook your boy up. Thanks again for watching, so much love to you as always. Stay West, fams.